Hey everyone, welcome to the first of hopefully many Hearthstone videos that we're going to be doing. So, the deck I'm using in this is a kind of variation, I guess, on Big Priest. Uses a lot of kind of things like Barns and a lot of minions like Lich King and things like that to create a really big board, or attempt to create a big board very, very quickly and kind of try and overwhelm your opponent. But I must admit, the two games I've got for you today, Mana Geode is pretty much the star of the show. It's quite interesting. So this game kind of starts off like most others. Try and get Mana Geode out there nice and quick so that I can kind of hit and heal to get some tokens on board, and then try and kind of buff them up so that you kind of create a nice bigger board. Now, one of the other cool things about this deck is that with some of the kind of new cards with Knights of the Frozen Throne, because you can kind of bring cards back, it means that if you do get like a Barnes out and you get like something like Lich King out, but it's a 1/1, if that dies, you can bring that back as the full 8/8 version of Lich King. So it's pretty cool. So he manages to take out Mana Geode pretty quickly. It's fair enough. It's nice and simple.
Well played.
I figured what I would do, even though I knew the Shadow Ascendants, even though I knew they would pretty much get killed, because I thought he's just gonna hit and then ping, or ping and then hit, or he was gonna find some way to take them out. Next couple of turns, I just kind of use them as cannon fodder, because without any other minions to be able to play, and without any other minions to buff, I just kind of figured it trades for his minions and allows me to kind of get on with the next one.
Ready for action!
Don't mess with
Now, after Knights of the Frozen Throne came out, I took a bit of a break from Hearthstone. I've got a couple of other things going on. So this is actually like a really low-ranking game. So some of the cards that come out in these two games, I'm like, people still play these cards, really? It was kind of surprising, but yeah, I figured I'm okay here. We're still only turn 4. Managed to get a buff on the old cleric there. I figured that would save her for at least a turn.
Ready for action!
Now, I do get pretty lucky on this next card drop, because he's just made 3 out of 4 of his minions have 1 health. Obviously, Spirit Lash there was going to help me out, so I kind of managed to be able to take out his whole board with this, and managed to keep board presence. So this was a bigger turn as far as getting board presence back. And I figured I'd better actually heal her up just in case. And obviously it means I can draw another card as well. I maybe shouldn't have been so scared, but I definitely wanted to make sure I still had board presence. Now that was the surprising one. I didn't think anyone still had a River Crocolisk still in their deck, but some folks are new to the game. Again, you know, people like me, I don't invest a lot of money into Hearthstone, but I had taken a break. So again, this is super low level stuff. But the idea with this, obviously, is if you like this kind of content, I can create more. It's super easy for me to do these days with screen recording. It's very, very straightforward for me to do. So again, still managed to keep Cleric alive. and I've got another Cobalt there. Again, getting to draw more cards. So I'm establishing a lot more board presence at this point. And I think he's getting a bit scared by this point. Manages to take that out, but again, that's his second fireball. And I know I've got a lot bigger minions in this deck that can potentially come out. So again, at this point, I'm not particularly worried. You know, I'm kind of reckoning I'll be okay. So obviously when the secret went out, I wanted to make sure that the spell that I cast I could do with, you know, because I figured it might be counter spell, and it turns out that it was. So I just chucked out the 1 cost there, just in case. Managed to get it back anyway. So by this point, I'm figuring, you know, if this goes to the next turn, I've already got a win condition here. I've got 2/5/5 minions, and then I've got Prophet Velen and a Mind Blast. So that would be 20 damage. Obviously, this was a little bit kind of scary with the 2 secrets there. I figured he might have an ice block, might be able to survive an extra turn. But then he gets to this point, finishes off his turn, and then decides he needs to quit. So that was that one. But yeah, I was confident I could still have that one. Now this game was quite interesting. This is a kind of a lesson in kind of always paying attention to the cards that you have. I actually thought I was going to lose this game. He manages to maintain a lot more board presence than I do, manages to get rid of my minions quickly, and in all honesty outplays me, and then he just makes one mistake, and that mistake costs him the game. But it's pretty neat anyway, and again, just another example of why I know loads of people don't really like Mana Geode. I really do, just because it's, you know, when you're able to heal, and as a priest you're able to heal a lot, you can really get a lot of value out of him if your opponent kind of treats Mana Geode like meh, it's no big deal. So again, here's a great example. He's completely wrecked my board, and he's got board presence. There's not really a huge amount I can do, so I stick the other Mana Geode out. I was tempted to use Potion of Madness to try and get him down another couple of health, but I figured, nah, there's somewhere else I can use that. I'll better hold on to that just now. It's only 2 damage that I'm going to take from him anyway. But of course he managed to get rid of my other Mana Geode, go up to 3/1, and yeah, starts to wear me down with face. So yeah, I was kind of like, oh, he might already kind of have this one in the bag. I'm already on the back foot. I was considering Eternal Servitude to maybe get something back out, but I went with Shadow Visions to try and get Spirit Lash. Managed to get it. Got rid of his board and managed to heal myself for 1 health as well. So again, the idea with this deck is to try and just keep yourself alive enough so that you can get big minions out. So with this, I kind of didn't really feel like I had much other choice than to bring back Mana Geode. I know I'd only lost 2 minions in the game, so I knew Eternal Fortitude would give me one. Buffed him up to 5 health, so I kind of was hoping that he would last at least 1 turn so that I could get a token out, and then I would be able to potentially do some other things. And this is his mistake. This is the mistake that he made, and he knows it as well, because he actually says oops in a second. And this is where I managed to completely flip the board on him, and I'm really glad I held on to that Potion of Madness, because now I get rid of both of his minions. And I managed to get board presence with a buff, and I managed to heal, which means that we've gone from he's got 2 minions, I've got 1, to suddenly he's got none, I've got 3, and one of them's buffing. So a great example in any kind of card game how just not kind of really paying attention can really kind of set you back. And again, even with Flame Strike, I've still got Mana Geode there. I can still I can still get, you know, 3 minions on the board by the end of the turn. I could have got 4 if I used Circle, but I wanted to kind of hold that back just in case he had another Flame Strike, so that I could keep Priest up, Priest of the Feast, and he does. So again, he manages to get rid of everything else, but I've still got Priest on, and then there he is. Perfect curve to get him turn 8. I managed to get him out. Now, I'm kind of obviously thinking he might have a polymorph, someone like that. He might be able to take him out, which would kind of shatter the plans for resurrecting him if he does die. And again, here I'm thinking, yeah, he's obviously trying to get rid of Lich King next turn. But again, managed to get my good old mana Geode back. So I'm kind of considering a couple of things here, but again, I managed to get more board presence. And again, this is obviously what Hearthstone is, and any card game really is all about, is maintaining your board presence and keeping your minions alive as much as possible. So that's why I kind of did this turn the way I did. And then he just decides, no, I'm not coming back from this. And there we go. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.